Before continuing to this video, do you see this? Only 2.3% of you are subscribed. So remember to smash that subscribe button as it really helps support the channel. And let's go straight to the video, shall we? Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we have 6 samurai infinite gates, and the end boards on these infinite gates are absurd, to be honest. You end on Beast Dwellers, Cyber Dragon Infinity, the Infinite Negates, Avermax, all of that. It's very difficult to play around it, although the combo itself is very fragile and it can sometimes fall victim to bricking. Right here I've drawn 2 bricks to show that the combo just isn't oh, if you draw more than a brick, then you can't do full combo. Doesn't invest your entire hand, but we'll just go straight to the combo here now. So we're gonna activate Temple of 6, Shien Smoke Signal, get Kageki, normal summon Kageki, summon out your Mizuo. And by the way, we're in single player because EDO Pro players just straight up quit as soon as they see you playing 6 samurai. So you're gonna go into Sold. We're gonna get the search for Kageki. It's just a nice card to search off Sold. Doesn't really do anything unless on its own. We summon Kizaru. We get to search for a Shinai. We get back to Phoenix Blade. Basically, you can do the combo anytime you are able to get 2 6 samurais in any way to get Bushido counters. I run 3 Temple, 3 Dojo and Gateway. So it doesn't happen that often. I think I should put in 3 6 samurai united, but it can only put on a limited amount of counters. So that's one of the main problems with playing it. We're gonna activate Gateway of 6, and we're gonna be summoning a couple of Kizans, and we will overlay them into a Shadow of the 6 Samurai Shien. This just gets us another round of counters for free. We're gonna get search for Grandmaster, summon it. We get another round of counters. We're gonna activate Gateway finally. We're gonna try and remove all the counters of Battle Shogun, summon that Kizan, and now we go into Link for Saryuja, and we get to draw 4 and dump 3, i.e. the garnets that we had earlier. We're gonna summon out Shinai off Saryuja's effect. We use Shien Smoke Signal to get a search for Mizuo, special summon Mizuo, use the Gateway and Temple in order to get a search for Shinai. So pretty much as long as you're able to get Shinai, Mizuo, and another Shinai on board, you can get infinite counters. And you just use Mizuo, tribute Shinai, pop himself. Shinai will just recover Mizuo for you. Summon Mizuo, use Gateway to recover the Shinai, and you pretty much have full combo again. As you can see, we're just going to go ahead and loop, and I'll just come back to you as soon as the loop is over. So right here we have just completed the loop. So we are going to get the search for a Kizan, summon out Kizan, and we just summon out 3 copies of Kizan. And this loop is so absurd. You don't even need to use the copies of Bora the Spear you just searched. They're kind of just optional. We're going to get a search for, we're just going to summon some more Kizans, overlay into 4 Strix, and then we can use its effect, detach 1, and search Bora because we already have Singulaneous. Special Singulaneous, go into White Strix. White Strix will go ahead, summon Zappos from our deck, overlay into a 4 Strix right now. And then we will explicitly detach the Zephyros, search another Bora. And I kind of forget I have these Boras. I just kind of ignore them. We go into a Simorg using Saryuja and the White Strix. We summon out the Mizuo from our hand. We go into Union Carrier. We don't even use the Boras. We don't even summon them. We get the search. We recover Kizan using Gateway. We just recover another Kizan using Gateway, and then we can overlay them into an Abyss Dweller, linked some into an IP Masquerena, get back our 4 Strix, go into Infinity, and during the end phase we'll get some more. I kind of over here I forgot to use Union Carrier to equip Thunderbird, but don't forget to do that. At the start of their turn we'll just use Abyss Dweller. During the end of their main phase we'll use Avermax, and as I said, I forgot to use Union Carrier's effect to equip Thunderbird, but basically what happens, what Thunderbird reads is, if I'll just come back here, if I can get a read for Thunderbird, Thunderbird says, where is it? Yes. if it leaves the field, if it goes to the hand from the field, you can summon it. And Apex Avian says when a card effect is activated, you can negate it by bouncing a misvalue card, and neither of these are once per turn. So as long as you have Apex Avian Thunderbird on the field, you can use Apex Avian bounce back Thunderbird to negate an effect your opponent controls. Your opponent does, and then Thunderbird will just summon itself back. Thunderbird cannot be run over when it's on the field. That's because we have the Avermax on field. Apex doesn't bounce as cost, it just targets. So if your opponent tries to change something like Cosmic Cyclone, try to get rid of your Thunderbird, Cyber Dragon Infinity can negate that. If they have Dark Ruler, Abyss Dweller still applies. It's very difficult to play around a board like that. It's just very, very difficult. So I couldn't really get any replays for you, unfortunately, but we were able to do a full combo with just 2 bricks, as long as you have a way to get Bushido counters and any way to get 2 6 Sams on board. You pretty much are good. So let's go on to our deck profile now, shall we? So right here we have our deck. We are running 1 copy of Apex Avian and 1 copy Thunderbird for the Infinite Gates, 1 copy of Grandmaster and 2 copies of Kizaru. The Grandmaster does come up often, and 2 copies of Kizaru just for his soul. Sometimes it's good if you have Kageki and Kizaru. That's the main reason why we run 2 over just 1 of them. 3 copies of Kizan. The 3 is absolutely mandatory. You can't really live without 3 of them. 2 copies of Bora the Spear. I feel like just cutting out Bora entirely, just because it doesn't really provide that much value, because we can just get Kizans. But I guess you know, you can just keep it. You do have to resolve Force Tricks to set a rank up magic from your deck, so I guess that is a justification. Not exactly, but let's go on to our other cards. 1 copy of Zephyros. This is why we summon a Force Tricks. Zephyros is just very great on top of just bouncing not once per turn special summons like Mizuo, Shinai, Kizan, all of that, and when you summon them back you get more Bushido counters, which is very nice. 1 copy of Singing Lanius to search off your Force Tricks. This is how you mainly go into White Tricks. 3 copies of Mizuo, 3 copies of Shinai. 3 is mandatory. You just want to get these on the field as soon as possible. You go into its sold and some Kizaru searches the other piece, and then you go into something like a Battle Shogun, and you can just go off from there. 1 copy of Thunderbird for the Infinite Gates. 3 copies of Kageki. 3 of this is kind of mandatory because, as I said, you just want to get 2 6 Sams on the field as often as possible. 1 copy of Soul Shape Force to rank up into Infinity. 1 copy of Reinforcement of the Army. Searches every single card in this deck, every single 6 Sam to be specific. 3 copies of Shien Smoke Signal. It's a teamed row deck, except it's only for the level 3 or lowers, so you can't search cards like Grandmaster, Kizan, or Kizaru off it. 1 copy of Upstart for consistency, 1 copy of Terraforming to get to your temple, 3 copies of Bamboo Sword, and you're cursed and broken. This Bamboo Sword package, it's not that great. I just feel like cutting it out. Hasn't been performing as well with the Bamboo Sword package, if I were to say so. Just because it does rely on you having some other cards. You could probably put in some more consistency booster cards like 1 Day of Peace. Time Thief Winder is one, but we can't really afford to put that in right now. I just feel that Bamboo Sword is something that I would take out if I were you, but it's up to one's choice. Just take it out when you're ready. 3 copies of Called by Grape for hand traps, 1 copy of Gateway for the infinite loops, 3 copies of Dojo. You just need a card that can put on infinite counters on it, just very important. 1 copy of DDR, 1 copy of Phoenix Blade, Living Fossil, Broken Silver Sword, Cursed Sword, and the Arfeud Deuter. I don't care what that is. All of these are just your generic equip spells. Not really much to say here. You're just going to dump them off the sold. Either summon Kizaru, and in some very rare instances will you summon a Shinai or Mizuo. But these are probably your best cards, just pretty nice to have. As I said, if you can cut down on number in this deck just by taking out the Bamboo Sword package, just do it when you do. You can choose what to replace with it. Maybe if you want some hand traps, some more consistency boosters, like cards like Six Samurai United, because that does work even better. But I'm just going to leave them in here for now, so that you can just change them however you like. And finally, we run 2 copies of Temple of the Six. We're technically running 3 with 1 terraforming, 2 copies of Temple of 6, because you do not want your hand to just get clogged up with like 2 more copies of this. You can't really afford to draw too many of this, so it's just great at 2 and 1 terraforming. It's kind of similar to the Lost World ratio, where you don't just want to draw like 10 copies of Lost World, so 2 and 1 is just perfect ratio. For your extra deck, we run 1 copy of Sidra Infinity for the extra chains, and just an extra negate on top of infinite negates, which is kind of ridiculous. 1 copy of Shadow of 6 Samurai Shien. It does come up when trying to just farm Bushido counters, and it comes up a lot in your Bushido counter combo in general. 1 copy of Abyss Dweller. Abyss Dweller is basically another one of your Endboard cards. Just locks down your opponent even if you do get Dark Ruler no more or any form of Kaiju. Abyss Dweller just does the job very well. 2 copies of Force Strix. 1 is to go into White Strix and the other is to go into Cyber Dragon Infinity. So 2 is mandatory. 1 copy of Avramax to protect your Thunderbird from being just run over. 1 copy of Skuldred. Skuldred is just your nice little thing to have. And finally we run 1 copy, 1 copy of Appaloosa. Just the extra negate does sometimes come up if you're sometimes doesn't come up that much. If you want, you can just replace it with something on the lines of an access code, but I just run Appaloosa here. 1 copy of Simorg to get your Apex Avion out. 1 copy of Isolde. Isolde is you can't really go wrong with that. It just summons out Kizaru most of the time just to get the extra search, but it is kind of mandatory to have in your deck. 1 copy of White Strix to summon out your Zephyros. 2 copies of Battle Shogun. 2 is kind of mandatory because you can sometimes if you're kind of running out of Bushido counters, you can probably link 2 extra 6 Samurais into another Battle Shogun to a zone of Battle Shogun points to already, so that can come up sometimes. 1 copy of Union Carrier to get Thunderbird on the field. That's why we run Union Carrier, just very nice. And finally 1 copy of IP. That's mainly how you do go into your Avramax. Just very powerful. It's very difficult for many decks to compete with this, mainly because of the sheer resilience of the end board. Although in terms of, the power of the end board is off the charts, but in terms of resilience during the combo itself and getting out your security pieces, it's not that great, as you can just easily get into B-Root. It's a very fragile combo, any hand drop will stop it. But the point of this video was to show that infinite gates are possible with 6 Samurais, so don't expect to just win a tournament with this. So that was the deck. I hope you enjoyed it. Do like and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.